since then we've kind of got to know there's more people in the South Freo corner pocket that want to get involved and have sort of shown their hidden talents and said, oh yeah, I could do that. Actually, I can bring that to the corner pocket, which is awesome. So we're gonna next build on that and do some different events. So we've got a bit of a plan in action at the moment, and what we learned from this is that just to get on and do it and ask questions later.
Yeah, and that ripple effect that seems to happen when you start doing something that's your joy, and other people kind of get carried along in this beautiful rippling community that feels really safe.
We're really pushed for time today, so we've only got really short amounts of time for each of the talks, but I just really want you, if you don't mind, to tell everybody what the budget was for Porch Fest, because I don't know if you actually mentioned what you called your event. What was the budget for Porch Fest?
We didn't have
a budget.
That's
we just
right.
did it.
I think that's what's so amazing. I think both your events, the mural and the Porch Fest, which was an incredible event. I went myself and it was amazing. We're all done on no budgets. As I understand it, no meetings.
No.
I had a few beers.
Yeah,
it was very casual and exciting and fun, and just a lot of networking between people that I know. I think between working in the cafe and living in South Fremantle and being part of the art scene and the music scene, everyone knows everyone and wants to get involved in it and miss that community feeling. So it was such a special place to be living, actually.
So I hope you both look into the chat box when Jenny starts speaking and just see all the really fantastic comments that people have been sharing about your venture. I would encourage everybody, if you want to try and have a private chat or to catch up with Anna and Hannah at some stage throughout the conference today. If you have more questions for them, there's plenty of opportunity to do that. And we might have some time as well at the end, but I just want to be making sure that I'm terrible for sticking to the time schedule because I could just talk about this stuff all day. So I want to hand over now, if I can, to Jenny. Jenny, as I mentioned, is the curator and founder of the York Festival, or took over the York Festival. Jenny, over to you to share with us a little bit about your story.
Okay, hi everybody. Thank you for the fantastic introduction. I have had to turn my computer around, which now means that you can see the appalling state of my office, and so please don't look behind me if I've got my wings out. It's because I'm a bit embarrassed. Yeah, so it was a great introduction, Carly, and kind of explained the genesis for what happened. We came to York in 2008 and fell in love with it because it's a beautiful heritage town. It's close to York. It's an easy commute for people if they do that, but it was certainly ideal for us as a weekend escape. We still have a house in Fremantle and my husband has a business down there. So we were just using York as a weekender, and then we kind of watched as things like the Jazz Festival, which York had been, was very famous event in York, and its whole arts background had made York a very thriving town for a long time. But from 2008, we just watched the town start to dwindle, and by 2012 all the events had finished. And I was motivated when I came across a sign that is at the information centre coming into York that said, York, Australia's best festival town. And I just thought, oh my God, we are in trouble. I mean, it's not dissimilar to lots of other regional towns, not just throughout Australia, but throughout the world. But you can't wait for somebody else to do something. So I kind of thought I'd have a go. And I was looking for a challenge, I guess. So we started in 2014, and as Kylie's mentioned in the introduction, we've really expanded to a 2-week event that happens each year, and around 24,000 people per year. But when we started, I would write to the council and say, can we, want to talk to you about such and such. I'd like to, what funding is available. For 3 years, I didn't get a single reply. I didn't even get an acknowledgement of a communication. I got no reply. And then we had, our council was suspended and we had a commissioner, which is really embarrassing for the town. The council, there was a lot of infighting. There's a really high degree of toxicity in the town. And it was embarrassing because the councillors have to go off to council school and learn how to be councillors and how to be part of the community. And we've come back from that to what is now a really, a town that's just been completely reinvigorated. So when I started the festival on a Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock, there were no businesses open. They all closed at 1 o'clock if they were open at all on Saturday. And 3 of the 4 hotels were closed and on the market. Right now, last year we had all four hotels open and 1, I think, on the market. And there have been 12 new businesses open since February this year. So some of those actually opened in the middle of COVID. And I guess what that says to me is that really, I guess, we a bit like Anna and Anne, where you kind of wait for other people to give you permission to start things. I think you just have to get on and do it and ask questions later and find out what you did wrong and what you need to do to actually be legitimate, and go looking for funding if you need to. But I think it's been an extraordinary experience to see how the town has reinvented itself. And we've had new art galleries open. I opened my gallery in 2017. Since then, we've had at least 2 more open, and there's just new energy, buildings that have been restored. It's quite an extraordinary place now. And so where we were very pessimistic about its future, we are the only town that's had a population growth, the only town in the wheat belt, I should say, since from the last census. So it's been a really fantastic experience, and I would really recommend that if you feel the need to do something, that you just go ahead and do it, because you don't need to get permission.
That is an incredible statistic. There's a couple, I'm loving that Anna and Hannah are doing the high fives there in the background. Feeling the love between South Freo and York here today, people. I'm really amazed about the fact that, as you pointed out, Jenny, that a regional town is actually experiencing a population growth. That's a staggering statistic.
Well, when you had the questionnaire at the beginning, it said, what would you do differently? And, and I just think, actually, so I opened a cafe and a gallery in 2017, and, we've kind of done okay, but it's taken 3.5 years to really get established. The game changer for us was COVID. We went to a delivery and takeaway business only. The gallery stopped functioning. And for 3.5 weeks, it was kind of like biting my nails and, are we going to survive this? And then all of a sudden, our turnover by the 4th week was almost back to our pre-COVID. And I think and we're only servicing the local community. But it is about that support. I think people realizing that we were there, we invested. So rather than, I didn't let anybody go. I had just employed a brand new manager. She started the day that we went into lockdown, and the person that she was replacing was leaving to go and work for Flight Centre, so she didn't have a job. So I kept her on and turned her into a social media marketing consultant, and she did an amazing job. So for 3 months, that's what she did. And she left about a month ago and has now taken a job in Perth. But we have gone from strength to strength. and we've had our biggest turnover in May, June, July. Each month has gone up as we started to open up again. I don't know whether this is the new norm. I don't know what's going to happen by September or next year, because we're not attracting tourists from interstate. But what I have when I talk to other people in other states, I think the difference that we've had in WA is that we've had a government and a local government, so state and local, that has been prepared to invest in marketing to itself. So there's no point in marketing interstate, no point in marketing overseas, because we can't bring those people in, but we can certainly encourage people to travel from down south or up north or across or whatever, and it's working, and that's saved us, I think.
It's incredible. I'm thinking about the difference. I think I've just been muted. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Great. Loving the thumbs ups and the hand signals from South Freo. Yeah, it's just really interesting to sit back now and look at the contrast between these really long-term benefits of enduring actions that have been happening in York, and then right back at the beginning where South Freo, York Corner Pocket are at right now, just at the beginning of this and starting to get things happening down in their area. I'm interested, Hannah and Anna, do you have any questions of Jenny? She's been doing this for a while now. Any thoughts about, or questions from Jenny and York, and for anyone else, by the way, if you want to chime in and ask any questions of Jenny and Anna at this point?
Oh, yeah, we're on. Maybe
You're
just,
on.
I guess some of the projects you might want to do later might involve funding. So maybe approaching the council, and they were really happy with what we did. We didn't get permission. They're just like, do whatever, and we did whatever, and they were pretty happy with it and asked for some photos and publicity for it. But it'd be great to have some money to actually put into play some more ideas that we have, with like a local artisan market or a little vintage market, like on this pad that we have between two restaurants. So there are a few projects that would be good, and I guess good ways of going about getting funding
and grants,
and knowing like what to ask for and how to approach it would be a good.
Any thoughts or advice on that, Jenny?
Well, funding is the bane of my life, and I have to say that the one thing that did happen with COVID was that we abandoned any plans to have a festival this year, and I have been really grateful for the year off, because it's enabled me to get a couple of other pet projects that I've been thinking about for a long time going, and they turned out to be very opportune times to be doing this. I think funding is really difficult because everybody needs something different from you. So yes, we'll give you this money, but you need to do this. And what can be complicated is that you find yourself changing, trying to twist your program to fit the funding source, and that can be do your head in very simply, and especially for an event like ours that's big and spread across the town and different weekends, and things that are paid and things that aren't paid. And Lottery West were very, very disdainful of us, of me and my committee for a very long time. For some reason or other, I had a project officer who was very cynical about what we were doing, and it was all just to attract tourists and put money in our pocket. And I thought, well, that's not an unreasonable thing it's good for the community if people have got money to spend it has to be a good thing, but they didn't like that at all. So it took me quite a while to get Lottery West on board. Festivals Australia is not sort of thing. So I think you start with your local government, really, because that's where you are, and that they're the ones that should be supporting you. And I'm sure that they would, especially if you can start to, if you can show the impact of what you've done, and it's clearly been fantastic. Then because you're working in the arts area, then I would definitely look at DCA and see what you can do with them there. Not so easy. They are quite difficult, and also, but they're the ones that will fund individuals. So that's the difference between having a not-for-profit organisation and running an event as an individual. Most funding windows are closed to you as individuals, except for DCA.
And do you find that once you get going a bit more and get a bit more momentum, do you find that having yourself as the lead role, if you like, the person who goes out and delegates to your other people that are involved in the project, do you find that works fairly well? Because we have absolutely zero structure right now. It's kind of, should we do this? Yeah, let's do that. Cool. Okay, let's go and meet up and figure out how we're going to do that.
Also, David's gone.
Yeah,
he's like our main man.
Dave, come back.
Like, you guys do a conference, and we're like, all right. Well, what are we doing? You're not here.
He tells us that you two are running the show, so I don't know what's going on here.
I see that's the thing. I'd never run a festival before. I'd never run an event, so, but I'm a good organizer, I suppose, and that helped. And I didn't have a structure to begin with either. It was just me, and actually establishing a not-for-profit organisation was not easy. It's taken us. We founded we incorporated in 2017, and since then, we haven't got a very large membership base, only about 26 people, and we have a committee of about 12. And it's probably a little bit too big, but it's working fairly well. But we're not very good as a membership organisation because we're not delivering stuff to our members. So I reckon, just give yourself time, do it, just feel your way. If it's you two, do another a year or two and get that experience under your belt, and then you can start to see what it is that what your fledgling organisation of two actually is, because I didn't know what I was creating really. I just wanted to create something. I was really doing exactly what you were doing. I just wanted to start something, and after a while, the market. So we started as an art and craft market, and then in 2016 became a festival, and that happened. Why did that happen? That happened because I forgot to book the town hall for the venue.
These are the things that happen when you have another whole life going on during the day, right. So as all of us do, Now look, I'm just going to jump in here now. We've got about 3 minutes to go. There's some great feedback, by the way, and lots of props for South Freo on the chat box there about the activations that you've been doing. It's just such a lovely contrast to hear about some quick, cheap wins. And I say cheap wins, I mean, we're talking zero budget. So anybody that's listening, don't ever think that money is an obstacle, because it absolutely isn't. And these two are examples, excellent examples of the fact that you do not need money to get on and do stuff. And then, of course, at the other end, we've had Jenny. Thank you, Jenny, in terms of sharing with us your enduring events and the incredible impact that it's actually had on your community. I mean, the fact that you've got more businesses now than you did before, that your population has increased is as an outcome of the efforts that your community have put into your community is absolutely incredible. We've really got to wrap this up now. We've only got about 1 or 2 minutes to go. If you want to find out more about the Corner Pocket, please follow them on Facebook. Jenny, where can people follow you in terms of what your group are doing?
We're not doing a lot at the moment, but so what's the best thing? Because we're not communicating to the big wide world that much. you can look at our Facebook page is probably the best thing, York Festival. Our website hasn't been updated since last year, and we're in a bit of a hiatus, but we're now getting underway for planning for next year.